opportunity to speak to you today. I am pleased to be here on behalf of Special Olympics British Columbia Delta. I've been with Special Olympics for about 7 years, and I'm involved in 5-pin bowling, alpine skiing, basketball, softball, and weight training. First, I'd like to introduce a fellow Special Olympics athlete, Scott Fadden. Special Olympics has done a lot for me. I've made friends. It's helped me become more comfortable in different situations. I've traveled around the province and to Alberta and Ontario, though I haven't quite made it into international competition yet. When I was just a young man, okay, a younger young man, I went to my first regional competition as an alpine skier in Kelowna. They were my first 3 races ever, and I won all 3. That meant I qualified for my first provincial games the following year, where I won 3 bronze medals. But that wasn't good enough to qualify me for the national games in 2008 in Quebec. So I decided right then to try my best to get to the next national games in 2012. I knew the only way that would happen would be to win the provincials in 2011. I figured it wouldn't be easy. And boy, was I right on that. So I'd like to tell you my story about what I had to do to try to get to the 2012 International Games, with a little detour down an alley or 2 along the way. And I think that will show you how important Special Olympics is to me and my family. First, I had to learn a lot about ski racing. My dad now says that ski racing is so different from regular skiing, it's like NASCAR compared to driving our car to the mall. Now, I've never driven to the mall, though I have driven our car. Oops, my dad said I didn't tell anyone. Sorry, Dad. Special Olympics Delta coaches are great. They give up a lot of their time and they take on a lot of responsibility too. But I wanted to work on my skiing even more than the weekly sessions on Cyprus from January to April. So I went to my first ever race camp on Mount Hood in Oregon in July of 2007. I was the only athlete with a disability among several hundred racers from all over America training there. One thing I had learned by then, though, was to make sure I never missed a gate, because a missed gate is a disqualification. So there I was with hundreds of other racers, and I looked down the race course, and I saw what I'm sure were thousands of gates. And I had no idea at all as to where I should go. I was so scared about missing a gate, I was actually crying a bit on the chair back up the hill. My dad told me a few jokes to calm me down a bit. Somehow, I have no idea how, somehow I nailed the course. Didn't miss the gate at all. My dad was impressed, and so proud that now he was the one who was crying. He told me not to tell you that too. Sorry, Dad. He told me between tears that I had the heart of a champion. Okay, Dad, sure, whatever. I had learned a lot that week. One thing I learned is that ski racing is really made up of several hours of schlepping your gear from one place to another every day. I told my dad that I wasn't a ski racer, I was a baggage handler. I've also trained at Whistler a lot. I was the first athlete with a disability to train with Whistler Mountain Ski Club. I've raced in the Cory race series, and some of those races were on the Olympic downhill run. Cory gives us a free beer after each race. What?
So you weren't supposed to tell Dad that when you did?
No, I wasn't. Oops, my dad told me not to. Sorry, Dad. At my last race camp with Whistler Mountain Ski Club, I got to race against Britt Janet. She had just retired from the Canadian team after competing at the Olympics. In case you're wondering, yes, she beat me. For several years, I trained at least 3 times a week each winter at Cypress, Rouse, Whistler, Oregon, and even Colorado. The last time I trained in Colorado, again the only athlete there with a disability, I was invited by the Canadian ladies ski team to do a run on their race course. Now at that level, as if trying to go as fast as you can down a steep hill without missing any gates isn't difficult enough. At that level, they spray the race course with water to freeze it and make it very, very icy and hard. I was so scared of falling and hurting myself on that hard, hard snow. I was so scared that I was yelling all the way down the course. I was yelling a word that my dad said not to tell you. And this time I think I'd better listen to it. So I worked pretty hard for 4 years, over 60 times on snow each winter, while going to school or working at Canada Safeway in Tawasin. I also did some weight training once a week, with some basketball, softball, and even a bit of bowling in there too. So in March of 2011, I finally got my chance. I was at the Provincial Winter Games again in Kelowna. I knew I had to win my 3 races if all my hard work was going to pay off with a trip to Jasper, Alberta for the Nationals in 2012. The Nationals would be my chance to qualify for the World Games in Korea in 2013. That's how the 4-year cycle works. One major competition each year, and in alpine skiing, you pretty much need to win to get to the next level. I was well prepared. I had trained more than ever before. I had been well coached. I had great equipment. I was ready. And I did win my races, but one of them by only 1300ths of a second. So I was on my way to Jasper for my first National Winter Games. There were 2 days of racing, slalom, giant slalom, and super giant slalom. The first race was the giant slalom, and after the first run, I was in 4th place, off the podium. But my second run was much better, and I had my first medal. a bronze. Then the Super G, and another bronze. And finally, I did my best race ever. Bronze number 3. I was very, very pleased. I had set myself a goal of being on the podium at my first National Winter Games, and I had succeeded. It sure felt good. I had put a plan in place, worked hard on the plan for several years. There I stood, on the podium. But as things turned out, Team Canada chose the gold medalist. They chose the silver medalist, but they didn't choose the bronze medalist. Oh well, there's always Austria in 2017. The next World Games. So that's my story. I've tried to explain that Special Olympics athletes are as committed to their sport as any other athlete. We work hard to get better. We work hard at learning. Special Olympics gives us a chance to do things we can't do anywhere else. Special Olympics makes us better, not just at our sport, but better at organizing ourselves and coping with different situations, even giving some of us a purpose and a goal in our lives. We get to make friends, we travel, we get to win, and we get to lose. We fail, we try again. We are Special Olympians. Oh, and I almost forgot about these. After playing over 200 games in 1 year to prepare, 2 gold medals, national champion team and individual, 5-pin bowling, 2010 Summer Games, London, Ontario. There's more to life than a ski hill. Thank you, Special Olympics British Columbia, and thank you, Kinsmen.